Hi guys, my name is Simon Grant and welcome to a theory lesson on irregular groups. Just spotted I've still got this on. This is my Rona mask. Alright, I look a wee bit French, don't worry about it. No offence to the French guys watching. So, what is an irregular group? An irregular group is a group of compound notes played in simple time, or vice versa. And what vice versa means, if you're unsure, it's just basically the other way around. So, a group of compound notes played in simple time, or a simple group of notes played in compound time. And think back to our simple and compound time lesson, where we're talking about a simple time being a group of notes, or a tune where the beat note is divisible by two notes of equal or lesser value. And then compound time was when the beat note is divisible by three notes of equal or lesser value. So our simple times signatures 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4. Compound time 6, 8, 9, 8, 12, 8. And you might be thinking, well, what do you mean by, notes that are played in simple time and compound time? What are you on about? The notes are the same. Yes, the notes are the same. But when we add up, for example, say I'm going to do a 2, 4. If I do 1, 2, right, and then I'm going to go 1 and 2. That adds up. Okay, that adds up in 2, 4 time. Because remember we're talking about the value of the beat note being a crotchet, which is the 4, sorry, and then the 2 being the amount of beats per bar. So there's 1, 2. 2 crotchets, 2 quavers added up equal a crotchet, and then you've got that crotchet making your second beat. But I don't want to play that. I want to go 1, 2, 1, 2. I like that, sounds quite catchy. So I'm going to rub this out, or not the second group, but I'm going to rub this out, and I'm going to write 182. Right, there you go. 1, 2, 182. But that does not add up to the value of the beat note in simple time. Let's add that up. So what do we get? Add these 2 quavers, you get a crotchet. That's the value of the beat note. But you've still got a quaver here that you're playing, okay? So that doesn't add up. If I add that quaver, that's the equivalent of the dot that we spoke about in compound time. So that beat note is a dotted crotchet. And you're like, that doesn't work. That just does not work, doesn't fit. So how are we going to make that fit? We can't go like this, because that adds up now, but that's now 1, 8 and 1, 8 and. I'm wanting 1 day. 1 day. So let's rub that out again. And let's go back to here. And the reason I'm going back to there, alright, is because if I play that group 1 day, I want to go 1 day 2. 1 day 2. That 1 a day, if you listen to them, 1 day. The space between each one is the exact same. So the notes have to be the exact same. 1 day. 1 day. I can't make some of them semis, some crotchets. It doesn't work. They all have to be the same. Okay? So, if we were playing as 6-8, remember the rhythm in 6-8 was 1 day, 2 day, 1 day. That group of notes fit in a 6-8. Ooh. So there's our group of compound notes played in simple time. So we'd fit in a 6-8. I want to play that exact rhythm 1 day, but I want to play it here. So how would I signify or symbolise that that group of notes is going to be played in simple time from compound time? You put a 3 over it. So a small arc enclosing the number 3. That tells you that that group of notes are a triplet. Okay, so that's a triplet. 1, 2, 1 day 2. But it doesn't quite add up because it's still 3 quavers, isn't it? This is where the fun bit comes in, and it's not hard. Okay, I was looking for a bit of paper to cover up. There he is. So when you're adding up music for trying to get to a 2-4 value, if you see a triplet over it and you're counting them up, you only count 2 of them. So I'm covering it up because it's 3 in the time of 2. In the space we played these two, you're playing those three. So in the exact same space. So we did have 1, 2, 1 and 2. But instead of 1 and, I want to play 1, 2. So it's 3 in the time of 2, that exact same time. So you're only going to count 2 of them. The third one's there, but you're not counting it. You're only counting those 2. And you know that 2 quavers equal a crotchet. So there was your first irregular group, and I'm going to draw it up here. There you are. There's your triplet as your first irregular group. And think back to what I was talking about. I was saying it was 3 in the time of 2. So when I'm adding up those notes for music writing purposes, I'm only going to count 2 of them. Okay? And if it was in 6/8 time, you wouldn't need the 3. And it wouldn't be a triplet, it would just be a group of 3 notes. But in simple time, it is a triplet. Okay? And it doesn't have to be just quavers. Okay? You could have semi-quaver triplets. Okay? You could have demi-semi-quaver triplets. It doesn't have to be just quaver triplets. You could also, and I've seen some folk do this, take the first quaver out, the second quaver out, put a quaver at rest. That could still be a triplet, okay? Because you've got 1, 2, 3 quavers. One of them's at rest, alright, but you would still count them up, okay? I'm going to get rid of that for now, and we'll go back to this. So that is your first irregular group. And that's the irregular group you would see more commonly in simple time signatures, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And if I write a phrase of music in here, this is one of your most commonly played phrases in a march drum score, or a 2/4 march drum score. If you played plenty of scores before, you'll have seen this phrase. I'm just going to put a flam here because 9 out of 10 of you are naturally going to put a wee flam in your head there. So I'm just going to write it in. Quaver. 3 semi-quavers, but again it's an irregular group, so you're only going to count 2 of them. That equals your beat note. Okay, a quaver, 2 semis added together make another quaver, which makes the value of your beat note. So that is an irregular group. A group of compound notes played in simple time. So that's showing you how it would work in simple time. And I'll rub it out and we'll now do it in compound time. Okay, we've looked at simple notes, or simple time signatures. We've done 2/4. Let's look at a compound time signature. Let's look at 6/8. And again, before tackling this lesson, you should be quite clued up on time signatures and notes and note values. So look back in your time signature and duration table lesson if you haven't already. So 6/8. Let's write out a couple of bars of 6/8, just like we did before. So with the 2/4, it was right, left we had. So in 2/4 that adds up, but in 6/8 it doesn't. So we need to put the dots on there. And then we had 1 day 2. 1 day 2. In fact, no we didn't. Yeah we did. We ended up with 1 day 2. And we put a dot there. And we had a triplet over that. But in compound time, we don't need the triplet because the value of the beat note needs to equal a dotted crotchet, which this group of notes does. So quaver, add a quaver equals a crotchet, add the last quaver, you get your dot. So that's the value of the beat note. So in compound time, we do not need the 3. Because that's not an irregular group in compound time. That's a normal, standard, fits the bill group. Adds up, everything's hunky-dory. So I've got 1, 2, 1 day 2. But I don't want to play that. I'm dead awkward, aren't I? I want to go 1, 2, 1 and 2. Why not? So I need to get rid of that, because in here I want to go 1 and 2, and I'm going to move this one above the line so you're getting right, left, right. Just because that'll be a bit prettier for you. So now I've got 1, 2, 1 and 2. Oh alas, that doesn't fit. Alright, fits in my head, fits in my hands when I'm playing it. Music writing, adding it up, that does not fit. Okay, because remember the value of the beat note needs to be a dotted crotchet. I add these two up, I'm only getting a crotchet. Alright, I need that to equal a dotted crotchet. Alright, so what do you think I'm going to do? Alright, I'm going to make this an irregular group. Because that is a group of notes that adds up in simple time, but it does not add up in compound time. So it's a group of simple notes played in compound time. So that is a duplet, and I'm going to draw it down here. A duplet, that's it there. So group of notes with a number 2 with a small arc over the top, and I'm going to make my arc a little bit in here because that's a bit rubbish. So I'll do the 2 there, and the arc needs to enclose all the notes that are going to be within your duplet. So think back to the triplet. We said it was a group of compound notes played in simple time or vice versa. This one is a group of simple notes played in compound time, and then when we played the triplet it was 3 in the time of 2. Okay, and think back to your vice versa, because I keep talking about that. What do you think this is going to be? 2 in the time of what? 2 in the time of 3. So if I do your 3 up here, 1, 2, 3, we know that that fits in compound time. 1 day. Tailor made for compound time, man. Alright, but we're going to play that 2 in the time of 3. And what I mean in the time of 3 is in the same time. Not at the same time, but in the same time. So 1, 2, 3 was 1, 2, 3, miss. 1, 2, 3. We'll put that one in. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, tap. Okay? I'm going to play 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 day 2. 1 and 2. It's played in the exact same time. So it's 2 in the time of 3. And we can rub that out now. So when you're adding up for music writing purposes, there's nothing you need to cover up. Okay? The only difference is, instead of not counting all the notes, is you're going to count a third one. And I know the third one isn't there, alright, but it's 2 in the time of 3. So you're going to count that third one. So a duplet, you would imagine that there's a third note there. You're not going to play it, but you're going to count that third note. Okay? That's how we add up notes for music writing purposes. So that 2, you would actually add it up, or add up 3. And again, you're like, but there isn't a third one there. I know there's not a third one there. Alright, you've just to add that third one. Okay? Not write it in, just add it up when you're counting them, because it's 2 in the time of 3. Okay? And it's quite a nice effect now and then, okay? When you're playing, say you're playing a 6/8 rhythm, I'm just going to add a bar of standard, or a little group of standard banter 6/8. So now I've got 1, 2, 1 and 2 ready. Alright, I'm going from very round to very swung. Alright, because a 6/8 march is notoriously swung. But, ba-da, but, ba-da, but, ba-da. If I throw in a regular group in there, 1 and a, 2 and a, 1 and 2 and a. It's quite a nice effect. It's very, very straight, very, very round. Okay, so 2 irregular groups. We had a duplet, and I'm going to write my triplet here. Triplet, duplet. So there, I'm going to stand between them. There's our 2 irregular groups that we're dealing with just now. So you'll probably get asked in a test, what is an irregular group? You wouldn't say a group that's a bit weird. Alright, nice imaginative answer. Incorrect answer. Okay, an irregular group is a group of compound notes played in simple time or vice versa. And you can also answer it as a group of simple notes played in compound time or vice versa. Alright, vice versa just means, or the other way around. Okay, so duplets commonly seen in compound time, triplets commonly seen in simple time. Remember when I've shown you the group of 3 quavers? So when you're adding up a triplet, you're only adding up 2 of them, okay, and that'll equal the value of the beat note. When you're adding up a duplet, you've got to add a third one. Alright, again, don't write it out, just add it in your head, because if you had 1 quaver, 2 quavers, that's a crotchet, your third imaginary quaver would equal your dot. So that would be your dotted crotchet, which would equal the beat note in 6/8. Okay? And the duplet is not seen as much as the triplet. You'll see triplets all the time in music. Okay? You'll see them everywhere. Certainly in march, like the 2/4 marches, strathspeys, G's Woman, triplets everywhere when we drummers play strathspeys. Okay, so that's your basic irregular groups lesson. We'll cover in depth irregular groups, or more complex irregular groups, when we deal with advanced music writing. Things like triplets within a triplet. Okay, don't be bogged down by that just now. When you get a good understanding of irregular groups, triplets and duplets, it all becomes a lot easier. As always, if you have any questions, please get in touch.